Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving deep into an intense, objective exploration of Friedrich Nietzsche's philosophy on what it actually means to live a meaningful life. We're going to look really closely at these patterns of self sabotage. Those subtle little compromises and hidden fears that silently run our behavior, the kind of stuff people usually don't even recognize until they're looking back with a whole lot of regret. So, let me ask you right off the bat, do you want comfort or do you want the truth? It's an existential cold open for a reason. We constantly tell ourselves these comfortable little lies just to fit in, to feel safe, and to avoid rocking the boat. But we really have to ask ourselves, is that actually living? Or are we just putting on a performance? Throughout this explainer, we're going to unpack 13 definitive warnings from Nietzsche. These are subtle traps that people usually only realize they've fallen into when they've already paid a really heavy price. So let's learn how to spot them while there's still time to change course.
Okay, let's jump right into Chapter 1, The Trap of the Crowd.
Now, what's really interesting about this is how it shows we're never really taught how to think, just how to obey. Look at year 0. We are born into these systems where we're basically just taught to sit still, memorize things, and repeat them back. By year 15, we've become absolute experts at mimicking success and following the rules. And then by year 30, independent thought is often just entirely lost. We literally grow up mistaking obedience for intelligence, and we end up acting as highly efficient extras in someone else's story. And this leads directly into a pretty harsh reality. Honestly, people naturally prefer comfort. We absolutely crave warm, predictable, easy answers over the truth, because the truth is often cold, ugly, and highly inconvenient. It's totally human nature to want to be coddled by these fantasies, but here's the thing. The truth simply doesn't care if we're afraid. It certainly doesn't soften itself just to spare our feelings.
It's exactly like Nietzsche observed. Insanity in individuals is something rare, but in groups, parties, nations, and epics, it is the rule. The crowd is rarely actually right, but it is always loud. Chasing validation from an unthinking mob might give you this temporary, seductive sense of safety, but I promise you, the ultimate cost is your own individuality.
Which brings us to Chapter 2, Confronting Your Inner Shadow. We tend to avoid pain like it's literal poison. But avoiding it, distracting ourselves from it, or medicating that pain, that doesn't make it disappear, it just makes it wait. The only real way out is through. You have to face the pain head on, find the meaning in that suffering, and let that intense process actually forge you into something much stronger than whatever it was that hurt you in the first place. And this brilliantly illustrates a really fascinating paradox. The weak are always forced to lie. Think about it. Kindness without actual strength doesn't make you a good person. It just makes you a target. If you don't have the backbone to stand your ground, you're going to shrink your voice and suppress your own needs just to keep the peace. But peace without power, that isn't peace at all. It's just submission. Let's build on that and look at how all of this suppressed emotion feeds what is known as the shadow. This is that hidden reservoir of our anger, our shame, and our jealousy. Both Nietzsche and Carl Jung warned that hiding your darkness actually empowers it. If you lock those parts of yourself away, they gain control behind the scenes, seeping into your everyday decisions and absolutely sabotaging you the second things start going right. So integrating that shadow, rather than just ignoring it, is where genuine strength actually comes from. Let's move on to Chapter 3, The Cost of Self-Respect. Building that self-respect means you have to completely abandon the idea of motivation. Motivation is really just waiting around for the right mood, the perfect setup, or some inspirational quote to push you forward. If you tie your actions to fleeting moods, you are building your life on sand. What you actually need is discipline. And I don't mean that toxic hustle culture punishment stuff, but rather the integrity to act on your core values out of pure self-respect, especially on the hardest days. But here is a huge warning label that comes with that. When you actually apply that discipline and start growing, it is going to threaten the people around you. Your personal evolution literally forces them to confront their own stagnation. It reveals their excuses and shatters that comfortable little equilibrium in your relationships. So don't be surprised at all when people start distancing themselves or even mocking you just for setting basic boundaries. So, the crucial point here is that ultimately, people-pleasing isn't generosity. It is just fear in disguise. It is the fear of rejection and confrontation masquerading as kindness. Diluting your instincts just to keep other people happy doesn't make you a saint. It just trains the world to love a completely fake performance. And the real tragedy? You lose access to your own clarity and your own truth in the process. Now let's step into the final and perhaps heaviest section. Chapter 4, Meaning, Death, and Freedom. Right now, there is a massive divide between our outer structure and our inner substance. The tragic irony that Nietzsche pointed out is that you can check absolutely all of society's boxes, get the degrees, work the respectable jobs, follow all the rules, and still end up with this haunting existential emptiness. And why? Simply because you never pause to actually discover your inner truth or ask what is uniquely yours to do.
This traps us in a uniquely modern dilemma, trading meaning for attention. We are living in a world that is completely addicted to attention because, well, it's cheap, it's highly visible, and it gives us instant feedback. But meaning? Meaning is sacred. It's often cultivated when you're completely alone, deeply aligned with your actual essence. Chasing that cheap attention while you're starving for rare, genuine meaning is going to leave you feeling entirely unseen and unknown, even if you were standing right in the middle of a spotlight. So think about this for a second. If you had to live this exact life over and over again for all of eternity, would you? This is Nietzsche's famous concept of the eternal return. He framed death not as this thief that just steals our plans, but as a clarifying mirror. It strips away all the noise and all those endless delays, and it demands to know right now, are you actually living your life or are you just killing time? Because ultimately, freedom is not given to you, it is taken, and the price for that freedom is literally everything that is fake. To achieve true psychological liberation, you have to destroy all those false illusions that are keeping you safe. The fake friendships, the cozy coping mechanisms, the constant desperate need for approval. So I want to leave you with this provocative thought to take away from this explainer today. What fake thing are you clinging to right now that is ultimately costing you your true freedom?